Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भक्तिनैष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter number 9, Text 33. Ahamevasam evagre Nanyat yat sat asat param Paschad aham yat eta cha Yo avashishyeta so asmi aham Ahamevashamevagre Na anyat yat sat asat param Paschad aham yat eta cha Yo avishyeta so asmi aham Ahamevashamevagre Nanyat yat sadasat param Paschadaham yat etacha Yo avishishyeta so asmi aham Ahamevashamevagre Nanyat yat sadasat param Paschadaham yat etacha Yo avashishyeta so asmi aham
Aham eva samevagre Nanyat yat sadasat param Paschat aham yat atachcha Yo vasishyata so asmi aham
Nanyat yat sadasat param Paschadaham yat etachcha Yo vasishyeta so asmi aham
Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Brahma, it is I, personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, personality of Godhead. And after the annihilation, what remains will be I, personality of Godhead. Purport. We should note very carefully that personality of Godhead is addressing Lord Brahma and specifying with great emphasis about himself, pointing out that he is He, the personality of Godhead, who existed before creation. It is He only who maintains the creation, and it is He only who maintains after the annihilation of creation. Brahma is also a creation of Lord Supreme Lord. The impersonalist puts forth the theory of oneness in the sense that Brahma also be the same principle of I, because he is an emanation from I. The absolute truth is identical with the Lord, the principle of I, and there is thus nothing more than the principle of I. As explained in this verse, accepting the argument of impersonalists, it is to be admitted that the Lord is the creator, I, and that Brahma is created, I. Therefore, there is a difference between the two I's, namely the predominator I and the predominator I. Therefore, there is still two I's, even accepting the argument of impersonalists. But we must note carefully that these two I's are accepted in the Vedic literature, Kathopanishad, in the sense of quality. The Kathopanishad says, Nitya Nityara Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bhavanam Yo Vitadahati Kaman. The creator I and the created I are both accepted in the Vedas as qualitatively one, but both of them are Nityas and Chetanas. But the singular I and the created I's are of the plural number, because there are many I's, like Brahma. And those generated by Brahma, it is a simple truth. Father creates or begets a son. The son also creates many other sons. And all of them may be one as human beings, but at the same time from the father, the son and the grandsons are all different. The son cannot take the place of the father, nor can the grandsons. Simultaneously, the father, the son, the grandson are all one and different also. As human beings, they are one, but relatives, they are different. Therefore, the relatives of the creator or predominator and predominator have been differentiated. The Vedas by saying that the predominator I is the feeder of the predominator. Thus, there is a vast difference between the two principles of I. It's a long book, but I'll stop here. We'll continue to read. It goes for another 2 pages. 3 pages. So please finish this paragraph.
If you can, let me just add, so just in case you don't finish, can we just have it written down something where you left off the next person? Oh, you're the next person.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's okay. Never mind.
We'll stop here and continue to read after that sometime. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshu Ummilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Swapadantikam Bhukam Karoti Vachanam Pangum Langayate Giri Yatripad Maham Nande Shri Gurum Dinatari Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Vishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Om. So, you want to put the garland, Prabhu?
I thought you're allergic to that, that's why I said that.
Sorry?
You can smell them, they give you allergy.
Yeah,
That's why I told them not to
remove
do
it.
that. That's why we
Okay,
get
I don't wanna
I
do
do
it.
it.
Did the marigolds get allergies?
My husband gets real bad. He's already sneezing, that will make it worse.
I get from magnolia and gardenia. And anything that buds, anything that leaves, dust.
Yes. Hameva Shameva Kre Nanyat Yat Sadasad Param Paschadaham Yat Etacha Yo Avishisheta Soasmiham. So here, Aham Eva Asham Eva Agre. Agre means in future.
Do you want me to remove the collar? Do you want me to remove the collar?
No, I'm fine. This is fine. So Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, he has been, the last verse we saw how he has extremely merciful towards Lord Brahma. In fact, he said that all of me, namely my actual eternal form and my natural existence, color, qualities and activities, let all be awakened within you. The factual realization out of my causeless mercy. So, Prabhu was describing yesterday also very beautifully that how the Lord evokes mercy. Something triggers to give him mercy to the devotees. And usually it is earned. The devotees do a lot of sadhana and they become qualified. And of course Krishna definitely gives them more than what they are asking for. But still they have to make an attempt somewhere and they have to do some sadhana towards it. But there is also causeless mercy, which I think Mother Katya was asking about. Where is this causeless mercy coming? So this causeless mercy is coming not from Krishna, but from the devotees. The pure devotees of Krishna. So they can take mercy on somebody. And Krishna becomes obliged to give mercy to that person. So that's why it said, Aradhananam sarvesha Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Aradhanam. So it is better to worship. Amongst all worship, the best worship is worship of Lord Vishnu. So this is Lord Shiva speaking to his wife, Parvati. And he says, better than that is to worship the devotees of Vishnu. Because devotees of Vishnu are extremely merciful. Pure devotees of Krishna. So they are extremely inclined towards making others devotees of Krishna. Paradukha. So they are very much afflicted. If they are seeing people who are not ready to take Krishna consciousness, they feel very bad for them. They feel very, they suffer on that account. That they are not ready to take Krishna consciousness. So for that matter, pure devotees of the Lord, sometimes they take mercy on a certain person. Like when Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu, they were going door to door to preach about the chanting of the holy name. So Nityananda Prabhu, he saw his two brothers, Jagai and Vidai. Then he decided to go to preach to them. So when he goes to request them to chant Hare Krishna, then they immediately become very angry. And they say, catch all of them. So they want to catch all of them. So both of them run away. So both Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they run away from the place. So only the next day they go and again ask them. And Madai goes and hits him. The first day they run away from the place. But that time Haridas Thakur says, you are a madman. You're putting me in great danger. So coming with you is very dangerous. But you are a madman and you are making me also mad. And somehow your eyes have fallen on these two people. And I'm sure they are delivered now. So, meaning is that pure devotee of Krishna, so he's somehow or other he prays for everybody to take Krishna consciousness. But sometimes they become extremely inclined to give or inclined to pray for some other living entity. So it could be someone out of nowhere, like when Srila Prabhupada was once flying on an aeroplane. So he was sitting in the middle, or he was sitting in one corner, I'm not sure, and two of his servants were sitting. So they would make sure at the appropriate time they would give the meals to Prabhupada, Prashadam to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada would eat a little bit and then sometimes he would give back. So, and then sometimes they will partake the Mahaprashadam. So once it appeared, he was given the puffed rice. The puffed rice was given to Srila Prabhupada. And he took a little bit and then he gave it back. So an air hostess who was just walking by, she was serving people, she was doing something. And she saw the puffed rice, I don't know what happened in her mind, but she suddenly grabbed hold of a lot of puffed rice and then she put it in her mouth and she left. So, like that. So I think servant of servant, Shutakiti Prabhu writes it, that, so what is the mercy? It's a costless mercy. She did not really intend in the beginning. Suddenly something happened in her mind, she took it and she ate it. So, Srila Prabhupada just mind. So, causeless mercy happens like that. So, nothing happens without a cause. So, every mercy also comes because of a cause. But with a pure devotee, the causeless mercy can happen by just a glance of a pure devotee. So he sees another person suffering, and he sees spirit soul there suffering. And then he somehow gives him mercy, just like Narada Muni got the mercy from the four Bhakti Vedantas. So like that, the causeless mercy comes, the agency of the causeless mercy is a pure devotee of Krishna. So Lord Krishna always looks at he has to be equal. He says that he says, Aham, I am equal to everybody. I don't discriminate between people. But if he was a devotee, Krishna says that he lives in me and I live in him. Devotee is very special. So, even though a devotee is special, Krishna says, I am equal to everyone. I do not discriminate. So in that sense, Krishna cannot discriminate. So he cannot give a causeless mercy to someone. He can. He is all independent. He is Swaraj. Nobody can question him. And he can give causeless mercy. But he actually gives it through the agency of his pure devotee. So that's very important thing to understand. And here, coming back to this verse is a very, very important verse. And the impersonalists also like this verse. I'll tell you why. It's given in a context. So if you take it out of the context, Aham eva asham eva agre. I will remain in the future. Nanyat yat sad asat param. Whether it is the material or the spiritual, so I always remain. Paschad aham yat etat cha. And I also remain in the future, in the past. Yo avashishyeta so asmi aham. So everything that is left over, it is I. So, for an impersonalist, so they will see, I remains in the past, I remain in the future, and I remains in the present. It's I which remains everywhere, in the past, present, and future. So nothing else is truth except the I or the Brahman. So Brahman is Satyam, Brahman is the ultimate truth. Nothing else is really true. So just taking it out of the context, you can really make a meaning like that. So Prabhupada, I'm reading from the Acharya's commentaries. So Prabhupada has written so much about the impersonalism in this particular verse. In his commentary, he has written about 3 pages of commentary. And he has attacked impersonalism all throughout 4 pages. So the reason is that they like this verse. Impersonalists, they like this verse. So that's why there is so much of a long commentary against impersonalism. And so it is, I was hearing one another devotee, my Siksha Guru, so he was talking about the same verse. I remember he was saying that the impersonalists, they buy Srimad Bhagavatam, there are specific verses they go to look for. And this is one of those verses, because they like this. So very much talking about I, being present, the past, and the future. And this is very attractive to them. So they are a different breed. So why did Mahaprabhu, he discouraged devotees from associating with impersonalists or with associating, not association, even reading the books, even reading the work. Because it's a very different understanding that they had about the whole thing. The whole world, the whole scriptures and everything. So that is why Prabhupada also is attacking impersonalism tooth and nail. He does not leave any opportunity to attack impersonalism all throughout. That's why we have this pranam mantra that Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Panchayatika. So he is tooth and nail against this impersonalism. Shunyavadi and also the Nirvishesha. So Krishna is saying here, the previous verse, he says, that my spiritual form, I'm revealing it to you. So he's showing again and again, he has a spiritual form, it is not a material form. So the material form, definitely people have some trouble with. The impersonalists, they think that everybody has a material form. The material form as a creation and the destruction. So that true Brahman cannot have a form. If it has a form, then it is declinable. It's not permanent. And if it has a specific form, then how can everybody become that form? So they have trouble on that front also. So what is, it has to be something that everybody is that particular truth. And second thing is, it should not have a form, because the form is declinable, the form will change, it is subject to change. So they do not have that, they don't want to have any conception of any plurality. So they want to avoid all plurality. Anything that looks different, anything that has a form, as a condition, they want to avoid that. So for that purpose, they say that the absolute truth does not have a form. Here we see, in Bhagavad Gita as well as Srimad Bhagavatam, multiple places Krishna is saying that I am the Spirit, I am the Supreme Personality of God, and I have a form, and I have a guna, rupa, guna, karma kaha, yavan aham yatha bhavo yat rupa guna karma kaha, tataiva tattva vijnana, astu te mat anugrahat. By my mercy I am showing this to you, Prabhu. This is my real form. And these are my characteristics. Be aware of it and making this awaken in your heart. What else you want? So, the reason is, so there are two kinds of impersonalists. One impersonalist who don't really believe in impersonalism, but they want to cheat people. They want to make a philosophy out of it, they want to make a whole world view out of it, and then they want people to fall prey to it, fall victim to it, and they can run their business. So there are other real impersonalists who really follow it to the core and who really believe in it. So first we have to first separate those two kind of people. So many of this so-called impersonalists, actually they are fake. So impersonalism, Shankaracharya has made it. The impersonalism means one, in his approach, in his sadhana for impersonalism, to become one with Brahman, is that you give up your material attachments. Then you follow Dharma properly. When you follow Dharma properly, and you follow the impersonalism as your goal, Brahman as your goal, then you will eventually attain the platform of Brahman. So for that you have to reject this material world. There is so much emphasis on you become a sannyasi, and so for the Prakashanandi Saraswati discussion with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see there are so many assembly of lot of sannyasis. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there, so they welcomed, oh, you are a Saraswati class of sannyasi, and you belong to our clan of sannyasis. So why are you not reading Vedanta? Why are you not? Because Vedanta tells you that everything is false, everything is one. Why don't you read Vedanta? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he clearly mentioned, so becoming a sannyasi is one of the important aspects of Shankaracharya's impersonalism. But these people don't do that. The other class of the present crop of sannyasi, the impersonalists, they want to make a business out of it. They use impersonalism because they don't have to maintain any standards. So if you're saying, if other thing that is not impersonalism is personalism, in which you have to differentiate between Krishna and you have to become a devotee, and you have to maintain a certain standard, and you have to show the world what is correct, what is wrong, and you have to be example for that. Achar, prachar. You have to do that. You have to speak what you are following. So they do not want to take the responsibility. So instead they make things easy for themselves. So everybody is actually God, but somehow you don't realize that you are God, and you can become God if you realize that. It doesn't matter what you do, but always you have to remember this, that you are actually Brahman. So it doesn't matter whether you do the nonsense, whether you eat meat, whether you do this, do that. that you have different relationship with different people. But as long as you think you're Brahman, you're good. So they have, this is called Neo-Impersonalism or Neo-Mayavada philosophy. So this is a lot of different shades of impersonalism is there. And they all actually bottle the same old wine bottle, the same different things in order to market it for different kinds of people. People do not want to take any austerities. People want to something that is simple. All you do is do some meditation, do some yoga, and then they think that they can attain that Brahman stage. So for such people, there are so many different institutions open these days to preach this message. But there are other classes of impersonalists who really follow the dharma. And then they follow the different codes of the impersonalism as per Srimad. So they take a lot of austerities as the primary approach for this whole sadhana for the achieving perfection and to attain Brahman. So the first class is more common these days. So even when Prabhupada came to this Western world, so he had to meet with so many impersonalism. They are mostly Indians who are gurus who have come from India to the West to preach yoga or to preach different things. So one such person was this Mishra. So Prabhupada stayed in the studio for many days. So Mishra was a good friend of Prabhupada, and they both had a good friendship. But he did not want Prabhupada to speak. So when he has his yoga classes, he would have Prabhupada make him sit in the corner, and he would have him do kirtan, but he would never ask him to speak. Because once he asked him to speak, then Prabhupada smashed his whole philosophy, because he would mix nicely yoga, he market it with different impersonal ideas. And then you do yoga, then you realize you're Brahman, and then so like that. That was his approach. One of this, what I was talking about, the new class of impersonalism. So no rules, no regulations, just impersonalism. And they use whatever different techniques, get money, yoga or meditation, transcendental meditation, so many people. So in those times also, Prabhupada used to be in the Mishra studio, he would just do kirtan. So because he was not allowed to speak. Once he was allowed to speak, then he smashed. So this, one devotee was telling me, some time back, he was telling me this lecture, that here in the Kumbh Mela, happened in Uttar Pradesh. So in Kumbh Mela, in the, what is the place? Prayag, or Allahabad. So once, on the day of Kumbh Mela, you will have a lot of different people come from everywhere, all different sadhus, Naga Babas, different people come. Some of them dressed, undressed, naked people, they come. So one of them was this American body sadhu. So he came, and then he saw devotees, and then he met with them, and then he spoke about it. He said that actually I was a student of this Mishra. I used to come for his yoga classes. And I saw Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And he was not allowed to speak, you know that very well. Because Mishra did not like him to speak. But he would do very nice kirtans. Hare Krishna, that tune. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. This tune he would sing so nicely, and I was very captivated by him. And I spoke with Bhaktivedanta Swami also. So all he told me once was, Mishra is a very nice person, but whatever he speaks is nonsense. So he told me that point. But after that, somehow I could not catch up with Prabhupada. But I continued with this impersonalistic idea, and then I came to India, and I became a Baba here. And then I started an institution also. He has an institution, in those days, he had an institution. There were a lot of followers, about 800 followers. And he said that I invited Prabhupada to speak in my institution, because I wanted to hear from him. So he was talking to this devotees, so he was telling. the devotee was telling the lecture. So like that. So like that, the impersonalist people, they do
Did
not
Prabhupada
want.
go? Did Prabhupada go to this place?
Sorry?
Did Prabhupada go to
Yeah.
He did?
So he invited Prabhupada to
Mhm.
speak in his institution. So it was an amazing pastime. I heard this many years back. So this impersonalism, I'm talking about other class of impersonalism. So why it is so dangerous is that it's because it hasn't, they haven't come with just like we have, and we say things from, everything from Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. So this talks about relationship with Krishna, it talks about yourself, the Sambandha. Abhideya is that which is helping you understand this is a process, which talks about the process, and Prayojana is the result. So like that we classify things, like Bhagavad Gita also can be, each verse can be classified as Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. So they also classify things. They classify the Vedic information, the Vedic text as three different things. One is called Pratibhashika, another is called Vyavaharika, another is Paramartha. So they classify everything into these three different things. These are three different levels of truth, they say. So Pratibhashika truth is that which is totally illusion. But the mind makes it think it is real. Such kind of things are called Pratibhashika. Like identifying a snake as a rope as a snake. It's actually a rope, it's not a snake. But because it looks alike, mind makes you think it is a snake. It's called Pratibhashika level of truth. Another level of truth is called Vyavaharika. So Vyavaharika means, literal translation means common engagement, common engagement. For that purpose, you need to accept certain things. Although you know what is the highest truth, which is the ultimate truth, is Brahman is one, Brahman is ultimate truth, the whole world is illusion. That is ultimate truth called Paramartha. But for the sake of maintaining relationships, but for the sake of doing business, so you have to have an understanding that this world is real, and just like the reflection that you see on the mirror, when you go there, you see a reflection. So it is a temporary truth. So it is not actually a real truth. And it is an illusion actually, but you have to accept it for the sake of doing business, for the sake of meeting with a person, for the sake of living in this world, making sure you are able to eat something, make some business. So you have to accept that as truth. Actually it is false. Actually it is all illusion. So that is the second level of truth that according to me. Highest truth is that which is that Brahman is the only truth, Brahman is Satyam, everything else is false. So like this they grade different things. They look into this prism of three different prisms. Or is this Pratibhashika, is it Vyavaharika, or is this Paramartha? So like that they kind of differentiate. See everything within these three different silos. So whatever you tell them, or you show their verse, they show a specific verse, or Krishna is saying I have a form and I am the ultimate truth, I am Paramatma, sitting everywhere. So they kind of bucket it out, three different things. They filter it out. Oh, this is this, this is this. Well, this is for common understanding. Oh, this is actually not the real truth. The real truth is this. Kind of filter this out. So once you get into that mindset, so whatever you put them in their ears, they filter it out. They don't really process it. They don't really try to understand it factually, seeing it as is. They filter it out in different filters. So it doesn't really reach their mind. It doesn't really go into the heart. They don't accept it. So it's very dangerous. That is why Prabhupada is always saying, Mahaprabhu is also saying, that avoid the association of impersonalists. Mayavadas, Mayavadi because that is not factual. The whole basis is false. So it has to be uprooted from the root. This whole Mayavada is so deep rooted, you have to take it out from the root. So it takes a lot of effort. It takes a pure devotee. So it's like a spiritual suicide. Why do spiritual suicide? Because you are not able to go beyond that. You're stuck with the conception of Brahman. You don't really make any effort to understand beyond it. Everything else you filter it out. So you are ultimately going to that. You're not even going to the Brahman. They don't even reach Brahman because they make so much. The whole philosophy is such a way that it is so much of offensive. So there's no way they can even get to Brahman. They go to hellish planets. Or they may take another birth to become reformed, to become a devotee. At least if they follow Dharma, they at least get a chance to take another human birth. But otherwise, their destination is not Brahman. Brahman is reached by people who are Brahmavadis. Where Mayavadis don't reach Brahman. Mayavadis go to, they may take another human birth. Or if they are offensive, or if they are this new class of Mayavadis, they go to village planets. No doubt about that. But those who are real Brahmavadis, so they reach the part of Brahman. Because they like to be in Brahman, but they don't negate the Supreme Lord. They don't say Supreme Lord is not there. They know Supreme Lord is there. They know Paramatma is there. But they like to be in Brahman. Such people are called Brahmavadis. There are a class of people like that. Like actually, even the 4 Kumaras were Brahmavadis. Even Shukadeva Goswami was Brahmavadi. So they were seeing everything is, Brahman is the ultimate truth. And but they did not negate the Supreme Lord. They knew Supreme Lord was there. So this Brahman is a platform. Some people like that platform because they're not ready. They know this material world is full of problems. It is full of dualities. There is good, there is bad. They're always constantly distinguish between dualities and choose one. They're tired of it. So they don't want a material world. And they are not ready to completely become the servant of the Supreme Lord also. They are not ready for that also. So they want to be, at least they want to completely be away from this material world and go to a platform where there is no disturbance and where there is complete no material pangs, no material miseries, and there is no duality of good and bad. You don't have to constantly be harassed by these different things. Just be peaceful, just be yourself, be yourself. So that is called Brahman platform. So Brahman platform, you go to a platform which is complete peace, there's nobody to disturb you, and there is a kind of a peace and it gives you happiness. But they don't realize that this Brahman, nobody can live this forever. Nobody can live in this platform forever. So even in the material world, everybody is constantly having to do something. Because the nature of the soul is to do something. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that not even a moment, na kaschit shanam api jatu tishtati akarma. Not even a moment a soul can be without acting or desiring. So to be in a platform where you do not want to have any desire, because it makes no sense to desire in a Brahman platform. You're sitting in Brahman, there is complete, nobody is there around you. What is the point of desiring it? So it's totally unnatural for a soul to be in the Brahman platform. But some people, to escape the material pangs, they want to become Brahman. But once they go there, they realize you have to do something beyond that. You have to either ascend up or you have to descend down. So either they descend down or they ascend up. Because they don't want to go to the Supreme Lord, but their desires forces them to choose something. So they make a choice of again back to the material world, they come back to the material world. So it's a spiritual suicide in one sense. But you also can go back to the spiritual world. Because if you do see Supreme Lord, you may not see Him face to face, but there is so much of different indications that is the Supreme Lord, the spiritual planets are there. So there is always an opportunity to ascend up, just like all the other Brahmavadis like Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, the Shukadeva Goswami, they all became devotees finally. So mostly that's the route to go. But it also can happen that you may come down to the material world again. So that is a great danger of being a Brahmavadi. But the Mayavadis, they don't go anywhere. So because of their whole philosophy philosophy is wrong, the philosophy is incorrect, they actually don't have a true destination. They either come back into the material world and they continue with their search for truth, or they go to the animal species if they have been not following the rules and regulation of scripture, to do sinful activities, do that in animal species. So I think we are at 8:30 now, so we have to stop here.
Kind of a point.
Yes.
That the early that story you told about the stewardess. I heard, Sri Prabhu told that story, and then later on, some years later, he retold it because there was something happened. The story is that she just happened to walk by. She saw that there was a puffed rice. Was that? I think it was puffed rice. She was like that. Oh, this is very good. And like that. And Sri the other devotee asked Prabhupada, "What? Did you see that?" He said, the women think you. And it was like, they just thought, just see how merciful it is that she got a plate, prasad right off the plate. I mean, I remember when Prabhupada would be in the temple, we'd all be like hanging around the doors. When the servant would come out, we'd take anything that's been chewed on, anything. We was even discussing whether or not we should take some other things that I want to mention. So it turns out, he was telling this story, Sridharkirti was telling that story. And he was in, I think, someplace in maybe Brazil or somewhere in South America. And the devotee came up to him and said, "Prabhu, I'd like to just tell you that we were preaching in the Amazon. There are these all-terrain vehicles going through, just out in the middle of nowhere, these little villages. And we went door to door, and I knocked on this one woman's door, and I opened it up, and she said, "Oh, Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada." And she invited him in, and the whole place, she had an altar, and pictures of Prabhupada and all his books. And she said, "Well, how does this? This is nowhere. We're nowhere in the Amazon." And the devotee said, "Well, how did you come in contact with the devotees?" She said, "Well, I used to be a stewardess on such and such airlines. And one day I got to taste Prabhupada's prasadam. It was puffed rice.
Wow.
And then I got the books, and so you can see it just expanded. From that one moment, somehow or other, it was causeless, like you were saying. Paramatma, whatever, inspired her to taste it, and it was really, not the proper etiquette for a stewardess to just grab something off of someone's plate and eat it. She just did it, and Prabhupada didn't take any. And then years later, you go to this village, and her whole life, she's a complete devotee. Pictures on the walls, all of Prabhupada's books, doing puja. She's offering them prasadam, so you can see the effect of.
Wow.
It's an amazing story.
Thank you, Prabhu.
No problem.
Concluding it.
Yeah, because I saw Sridharkirti told the story once about that, how she just grabbed. And then later, a few years later, he does a version of his memories again. And he said, "I need to tell you what happened since then." And it's a really amazing story.
Yeah. That's causes mercy. That's a good
But
example.
I have a question about unless someone else, but Sukadeva Goswami, the four Kumars, they're Brahmavadis. But my understanding is that when someone reaches that level of Brahman realization, they're merging into the Brahman. But Sukadeva Goswami is within the womb of his mother. Four Kumars appeared to be traveling around. So, in other words, if someone has reached the Brahman realization, they don't necessarily then merge. They may be internally merging, but they're still acting in this world. Because I thought, in order to be a true Brahmavadi, you have to completely give up desire. Otherwise, you cannot stay fixed in the Brahma, at least in the Brahma Jyoti. Once you desire, you fall down. So I think is there some distinction between the kind of Brahmavadi, like you're saying, there's different types of Brahmanization, Brahmavadis. So is there a distinction between that and what like the Sukadeva Goswami and the four Kumars, what they were experiencing?
Yeah, Brahmavadis they reach the Brahman platform only after the end of that life. So you have to give the mortal coil to be able to reach the Brahman platform.
So they're philosophically in that moment.
Philosophically
And then
inclined towards Brahman.
Right, I see. Okay.
Once they leave their body, they
Go to Brahman.
Krishna satisfies their desire. So you want to merge with Brahman, so you can merge. It's called Sarupya Mukti. That's one of the Mukti Krishna gives. Out of the 5 Muktis, the Sayujya. Sayujya means merge with him. So his expanse of his body is coming towards Brahma Jyoti. So it is merging in him, it's actually merging in the Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is just like sunlight and sun is not different. So Brahma Jyoti and Krishna are not different also. So you reach the platform, and because there is still Krishna's presence there, this light emanating from him, there is a sense of happiness also. So that's not that Brahma Jyoti is dry. Because it is coming from Krishna, although you're not personally associating with him, that contact with him is there. So that's possible for people who are attached to it to be there. But there is always a tendency, just like a spirit soul, the spiritual world has fallen down to the material world because of desiring to be away from Krishna. So that option is always there with the living entity. So that even though you reach Brahma Jyoti, and you're not associating with Krishna directly, you're not getting the personal attachment with him, you're not getting the personal association with him. So you may feel happiness. The Ananda aspect might be there in the Brahma Jyoti. There is a level of happiness but you don't know why. Or you know it is Krishna, but you may or may not know it is coming from Krishna. But there is some happiness there. But still you don't have personal association. You don't personally serve him. So that the constant happiness coming from serving him, that level of happiness you don't get it. You miss that part out. So because of that, they want to attach with something lower. It's possible they may desire to attach with something lower, which means come back to the material world. So, but there is a possibility to stay there also, if you really fix it. Just like even the higher paradigm system, you have Maha, Rajana, Tapa, and then Satyam. So anything above the Swargaloka, so it's a place of austerity. It's not a place of enjoyment. They have a lot of siddhis. They can definitely create the whole universe if they want to like that. But they engage in austerities. That's why it's called Tapoloka. Because they engage in austerities. So because they are such people, they like to be in Brahman. They desire to be in Brahman. And they can stay in Brahman also. So how long? It's up to them. But it is possible to stay there. So there is a sense of happiness when you get there, being there. And it is not like you're lost in the woods. So, but it is not fully satisfying to the soul. The soul seeks relationships. Soul seeks relationship with Krishna. Because that is its nature, to seek relationship. For that reason, it might make a wrong choice to come back and be in the world, seeking relationships.
You talked about causeless mercy. I don't know whether, and you also talked about Katya's question yesterday. I don't know whether she got that last part, like what you were saying. Maybe somebody should talk to her about it. They had that question. I don't know whether that was answered. But this causeless mercy you're talking about, how would you know when you get it? How can you identify that?
Yeah, by the result, just like Prabhu was mentioning, how the lady transformed into a devotee. Falena parichate. So the result of anything is the fruit of it. So causeless mercy, because she took the prasadam and she thought it was nice. She appreciated the prasadam, the Mahaprasada of a devotee. She knew very well that this is something that was tasted by Prabhu. For whatever reason she tasted, she appreciated it. When you appreciate the prasadam as a devotional service, so Krishna is pleased. And besides, she appreciated the devotee's Mahaprasada. So he was even more pleased. Because if you if you feel good about a devotee, pure devotee of Krishna, Krishna feels very nice about you. Because you have very positive attitude towards pure devotees. You appreciate them so much and you revere them, you have reverence for them. Krishna definitely sees that as a very good reason to give mercy.
Do you have a question?
No, I just had a comment.
Go ahead, I will have one more. Mine is not related to
Just the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. You know, I had no contact with devotees. I had no opportunity for prasadam. I had no idea who Krishna was. And he just started coming to me in dreams. And that's just the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada.
It's all coming from the previous life.
That is,
So your attraction towards holy name, attraction towards Krishna consciousness, something you might have done in previous life, which is bringing you to this.
Yeah.
For no reason, if you're coming, there is causeless mercy, for sure.
She was reading for a long time, many times, all the books, you know.
yeah, I've read all the books more than once.
You're actually very fortunate.
I'm so fortunate. You know, it wasn't until after about 6 years into my journey that I started looking for the devotees. And I didn't even know temples like this existed. I didn't know that you could actually live here and serve.
What was your first contact with books or something?
I don't know if you've ever really heard my story. I saw a picture that kind of reminded me of India. And I started looking online, and I kept seeing Srila Prabhupada's name over and over again. And I found the ISKCON Desire Tree website. And one of the first articles I read was that if I had never heard of Krishna, that when you died, if you could remember Krishna, you could go to him.
That's the one part.
And I had instant faith that whoever this Krishna was, this was God. And the best way to do that was the Maha Mantra and devotional service, and that it had to be 24 hours a day. And that day I learned the Maha Mantra and just started repeating it in my head over and over and over again, anytime I was awake and conscious. And I did that for the next 3 years. And then the dreams started of Srila Prabhupada. And then I found all the books, and I started with the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada books.com. And I started with the Bhagavad Gita. I read it from Srimad Bhagavatam. I read it. And this took place over the next year, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I set up an altar. And I started attempting to prepare prasadam and offer flowers and incense. And it's just the dreams are really powerful. Srila Prabhupada explained to you, the nature of this world is false. All the different relationships we could have with Lord Krishna. And then I began looking for the devotees online, Facebook. And then I found out that, they were actually, because something that really stuck with me from the Bhagavad Gita is that don't try to serve me, serve my devotees. Like, but how? How do I do that? How do I have a chance to do that? And slowly he led me to the temples. And, so it's been an amazing journey.
Very interesting.
So the prompt is coming from the Paramatma. So to whatever the reason you had to and seek out for India, what is it all about, spiritual culture. That's coming from Paramatma from the previous life. So you might have definitely had some, may not be ISKCON, maybe some other Vaishnava, somewhere, some connection.
Well, my Guru Maharaj said once that he thinks maybe I've even had contact with Prabhupada in past life.
And the thing is that she followed the instructions. Some people ignore these things. They know when they don't follow, they'll follow sometimes, that time, blah, blah. But she just followed through her dream and continuously do. Whatever you do, don't show them your before, after. Okay?
The before pictures and after pictures of me,
you will not believe it.
I don't even look like the same person.
You won't believe it, so don't do it. They will be shocked.
I don't look like the same person. I literally
They will literally say, this is not you. It's
changed
photos
me from the
before and
inside out.
after.
I gave a class the other day for some Bengali devotees in Bengal, and that's what they asked me about before chanting the mantra and after. And I said, just peace, happiness that I did not have before. I had a very troubled mind before. I lost my mother to suicide, and it was just a very, very sad, very